live with AirPlay21.
Hi, welcome to AirPlay21. I can't believe we're in April already, moving through this month. It's crazy, but it is beautiful here on the East Coast. This is weather to go cruising in. If you have a convertible, that would be great. But any kind of drive would be fun. And the reason I say that is because our show today is about driving. Kirsty Donahue, the beloved AirPlay co-host and wonderful actress. Can you tell us a little bit about today's show?
I'm glad to, Connie. Today we're doing I Drive Killer 65 by Marjorie Stewart. And I'd like to tell you a little bit about Marjorie. Marjorie Stewart teaches English composition, journalism, and creative writing at Glenville State College in Glenville, West Virginia. She's a playwright with 21 productions of her work, mostly in the Pittsburgh area, where she had a production in each of the first 10 years of the Pittsburgh New Works Festival. Marjorie has had 3 plays produced at Glenville State College: Winter Solstice, Murder at Musty Meadows Manor, and Till Death Do Us Part. She's also a painter known as Max Stewart, and she likes working with acrylics. You can see her work at www.maxstewartpaints.com. Next up, I would like to tell you about our very talented cast. Carrie Wesolowski. She's directed this play, and she also plays the woman. She was born and raised in New York City, and Carrie is a New York City-based actor and director, host, and singer who has appeared in international news programs, film, television, and theater productions. Carrie's recent projects include directing and playing Destiny in Connie Kepfinger's Simon Says, which was one of 11 finalists in Playbill's VTF Live, and was most recently streaming worldwide as part of Manhattan Rep Stories Film Festival, and playing Mandy in Dermalogic, which can still be seen on Theater for the New City's YouTube channel. It's always such a joy for Carrie co-hosting, directing, and acting on AirPlay. Carrie would like to thank the playwright Marjorie Stewart and the actors who helped bring this to life. Next up is Timothy Reagan, who's playing the man. He is a graduate of Keene University and has worked on several national tours upon graduation. Tim is a seasoned TV, film, and stage actor, and now comes to you via Zoom and other various FaceTime platforms. You can find him at www.timothy-reagan.com. Now, before we start, I'd like to tell you a little bit about the show. I Drive Killer 65 is the central piece of a collection of short plays called, appropriately, I Drive Killer 65 and Other Stories. The plays address male-female relationships from a variety of angles. This play is named for Ohio River Boulevard Route 65, a major commuting route from the northern suburbs to downtown Pittsburgh. Once one of the most dangerous roads in Pennsylvania, its drivers bore the bumper sticker, "Pray for me, I Drive Killer 65. In this piece, Woman has left her home in San Francisco to follow Man to Pittsburgh, where he has taken a very good job. The struggle of the long drive from coast to almost coast, coupled with the uniquely challenging driving conditions in Pittsburgh, the play uses the couple's driving habits and vehicle choices to show a relationship on the brink. And now, I Drive Killer 65. Woman rushes in with a trench coat over her black outfit. She carries a briefcase and a wet umbrella.
I'm sorry I'm so late. I got held up in traffic. Can you believe it? They held up rush hour traffic while that stupid cop from Kilbrook Township taped those stripes across the road for the speed trap. And we had to wait, for God's sake, at rush hour. Can you believe it?
I hope you're not speeding on that stretch. It's dangerous. They better not catch you there again.
They won't. I know where all the traps are now.
That's not the point. You shouldn't be speeding in the first place.
Well, they shouldn't be using that ridiculously low speed limit. It's dangerous.
I know. I don't want to hear about you paying another fine. What is it, $92.50 a pop now?
Well, what about your parking fines? $235 last time, wasn't it? Parking in a handicap space and $80 for towing the time before?
Don't try to change the subject on me. I don't want you speeding. Start getting home on time, okay? I worry.
There's nothing to worry about.
Especially in this rain.
I'm just always running late, that's all.
The road is so narrow.
I hate it when you worry.
And no medial barrier of any kind.
It makes me feel incompetent.
And it's supposed to freeze tomorrow.
I'm a perfectly good driver.
It's not just you. It's all those nuts out there. Ohio River Boulevard is a dangerous road. More fatalities per mile than any other road in the country. Don't you read the paper?
No, but I read the bumper stickers.
Bumper stickers?
Pray for me. I drive Killer 65. Let me tell you why I'm here. We were in San Francisco when he got his job, and I knew it was a great opportunity for him. He had to come. But me, in Pittsburgh, no way. I had a great job. I was staying put. So he came. And 2 weeks later, my agency got bought out by a bigger one, and it got bought out by an even bigger one. And I was unemployed. Well, I thought, maybe Pittsburgh's not so bad. So I packed up my belongings in a 12-year-old Plymouth that had been parked on the street for 2 years and a garage for 3 years after that. I mean, it had never even moved except for that one time from the street to the garage in 5 years. It had been so long I had driven. I had sort of developed this phobia. I don't know, agoraphobia or something. So I'm afraid to drive. But I started out to come to Pittsburgh anyway. Well, I'm telling you, I had to fight that car every mile. I stopped 3 times at 3 different gas stations, and I told them it was pulling to the right, always pulling to the right. And they said, lady, it's all in your head, which I believed because I was afraid to drive to start with. Finally, I stopped at a gas station in, I don't know, Kansas or Nebraska, one of those wheat states. I had already fought the damn thing all the way across the Rocky Mountains. And the man put it on the rack and said, your tires are square. That car had sat so long, the tires had gone square. So I got new tires and I drove the rest of the way, and it wasn't so bad. Then I got here and I rang the doorbell, and he'd been here almost a month by then. And he came to the door and he said, hello, just hello. I thought I should, I'm 10 days on the road, and he says, hello. And I came in and he hadn't unpacked a thing. There was just this big old mattress on the floor. And I thought, this is the biggest mistake of my life. So here I am, and I have to drive all the time, all the time. You're probably all used to living in real cities, cities that have public transportation. I mean, the kind where you don't have to transfer downtown all the time. The kind of city where you can leave your car parked for 5 years and not care, like New York or Philadelphia, San Francisco. Oh, well, I'm here now. I drove across the state line from Ohio, and there's this big sign. Welcome to Pennsylvania. Our speed limit is still 55 miles per hour. Well, I've discovered that the liquor laws suck too. So I drive too fast sometimes. I pay too many fines, and he worries. Now he worries after I drove across the Rockies on square tires. Him? He never owned a car. He didn't total, and he worries about me.
Man and woman are in a car. She is driving.
You're going too fast. You're going too fast. Look out for that red light.
I don't know where I am.
Slow down. You're going too fast.
Okay. I'm not going too fast, okay? Just don't worry. It's fine. I know how to drive. I'm a perfectly good driver. Please, it's fine. It's fine. It's okay. I'm going the same speed I always do. Relax.
I can't. You're making me nervous.
That's because you drive so slow. You ought to wear a hat when you drive to warn other drivers. I drive like an old man. That's what a hat says to other drivers. Look out, the geriatric squad in front of you again. That's what a hat says.
I'm not that bad.
You're terrible. It's amazing to me that you don't drive around with your turn signal on all the time. You should have one of those disabled veterans license plates. Have you ever noticed? Their disability always seems to be in their right ankle.
I never noticed.
Maybe they should have special license plates for the accelerationally challenged.
Just watch where you're going.
What do you say? Differently abled? Your license plate should say differently footed, feather footed.
Well, better than a lead foot like you.
Yeah, unless you ever want to get anywhere.
Just drive, all right? It's not funny anymore.
It never was.
Hey,
Wow.
hey,
Look at those great patterns and those neon signs over there.
hey! What's wrong with you? The light's green. Go already. Can't you hear the horns? Go.
Oh, sorry. I was watching that sign. Sorry.
I don't know what's wrong with you. First you race around town like it's the Indy 500, and then you sit at a red light for hours. Are you in a hurry or not?
Sometimes.
Well, I wish you'd make up your mind. I wish you'd quit speeding.
Well, I wish you'd mind your own business. Speed limits aren't made for good drivers and good cars.
They have reached their destination. Man tries to get out, but the seatbelt holds him back.
Good cars? I hate this car. I hate these fucking automatic seatbelts. What would you know about good cars? Or good drivers?
Men, they have to be in control of every little detail of their cars. They have to fasten their own seatbelts. They have to have standard transmissions, even if they don't know how to shift. A great little sports car like this, it's tragic to watch him drive it. Never quite shifting at the right time, plodding along the highway at 52.5 miles per hour. Oh, but he's in control every minute, except for the automatic seatbelt, that is.
Man and woman are home, reading the Pittsburgh Post-Gazette.
I heard there's a slasher at the mall.
A flasher? You stay away from there.
No, not a flasher, a slasher. You know, one of those guys who hides under women's cars with a knife. And when they go in to get them, they slash their ankles all up. I've heard he seriously injured 3 women.
And ruin hundreds of pairs of pantyhose, I'll bet.
I'm serious. It's awful.
You don't mean you believe that.
What do you mean, believe it?
It's just one of those old stories that goes around all the time. Just a rumor. Like the one about the guy with the hook. Nobody knows where they come from, but they certainly aren't true.
I heard it at work. My assistant sister-in-law is best friends with the cousin of one of the women who got hurt. She almost bled to death. What guy with the hook?
That's how it always is. Someone swears that it happened to their friend's friend's friend. The next person to tell a story cuts one of the friends and adds herself in. It's the gossip equivalent of a chain letter.
What guy with the hook?
There is no guy with the hook.
What do you mean there is no guy with the hook? You're the one who brought him up.
There is no guy with the hook. There is no slasher at the mall. No one ever found the body of a man who hung himself dangling over the car with his toenails scraping across the roof like a branch.
Oh my God. When did that happen? Was it around here?
I'm telling you, it didn't happen.
All right. All right. It didn't happen. Tell me about it.
Oh, for heaven's sake. All right. I'll tell you about the guy with the hook. 2 high school kids are on their way home from the prom. He parks, but the girl's real nervous and she doesn't want to put out. So
Put out? I hate that expression.
fine. She doesn't want to fuck the guy. Is that better? So the girl's nervous, the guy's getting angry, and the radio's on. Suddenly they interrupt the music for a news bulletin. A homicidal maniac has escaped from a local institution. His past crimes have been killing teenagers on desert country roads. He can be recognized by the hook he wears instead of a right hand. The girl is terrified. She wants to go home right away. The young man is furious. He starts the car and peels out of there. When they get to her house,
What? What happens?
the young man goes around to his date's side to let her out of the car, and there's a bloody hook hanging on the door handle.
Oh no! Oh, how terrible!
For heaven's sake.
What?
It's not true. None of these stories are true. I can't believe you believe them. You'd be just great around a campfire.
How do you know they're not true?
God, I can't believe how gullible. They just aren't, all right?
No, it's not all right. How do you know?
We'll be logical. How many high school kids would open the door for their date, especially when he's so pissed at her? And how many car doors have handles you can hang a hook on anymore? These stories just aren't true.
Fine. Whatever you say. I am still going to stay away from the mall.
Fine.
And I don't see what you have against chain leaders either.
Man and woman are back in the car. This time, the man is in the driver's seat. A horn sounds.
Come on! Are you ready or not?
I'm coming, okay? I'm coming. Oh,
Wonder you drive so fast. You never leave the house until 2 minutes before you're supposed to be someplace.
why do we have to take the truck? I don't mind if you drive, I guess, but couldn't we go in my car? I mean, it's a party.
I'm more comfortable in the truck.
But it's so hard to park. And you're so bad at parallel parking. At least you could get a smaller truck.
I don't want a smaller truck.
I don't understand why not.
We've been over this 100 times. You need a full-size bed to haul 4x8 sheets of plywood.
Oh. Really? And all right, but in all the years I've known you, you've never hauled a 4x8 sheet of plywood anywhere. But you never know, do you?
No, you never do.
We'll never get there on time.
It's your fault we left so late.
You could speed it up a little, you know. What happened to that one-man demolition derby that I married?
I wised up, I guess.
Yeah, well, you slowed down, I guess.
Let's make a deal. We get to this party without talking about my driving anymore.
Or am I driving?
Or your driving.
All right.
All right.
So, where are you going to park?
What?
You got towed last time we were in this neighborhood, remember? So where are you going to park?
Did I just make a deal with you? Did I actually trust you for like a few seconds? Get out.
What?
You can just walk from here.
We're still blocks away.
Get out. I'll go park. I'll save you the embarrassment of watching me struggle with a big truck in a small place. And by the time we get to the party, maybe I won't feel like killing you anymore.
Fine.
Fine. Only 40 minutes late. I'll probably have to park the car in the next county. No problem.
Man and woman are in bed, sitting side by side under the quilt.
Lately, when I come up Sycamore, you know how steep and winding it is.
You're having car trouble again.
No, it's not the car. It's me. I got hypnotized.
Because you better not be. I told you not to buy that car. What do you need with a high performance car anyway? You didn't drive for 5 years when we were in San Francisco. Now all of a sudden you have to have this fancy car. You have to drive everywhere you go.
I said it's not the car.
Better not be.
Anyway, lately when I come up Sycamore, I seem to get hypnotized by my rearview mirror.
Why don't you come up William Street?
Oh, right, William Street. It's twice as curvy, twice as steep as Sycamore. You're not listening to me.
Hypnotized by your rearview mirror. I'm listening.
I can't seem to drag my eyes out of it to watch the road ahead of me. And then I get all dizzy.
This is unusual.
Bastard.
Okay, I'm sorry. You get all dizzy.
Yes. Because I'm driving around one curve while I'm watching the last one, the one I just drove around.
You're watching the one you just drove around
Yes,
in your rearview mirror.
yes. Someday I'll wreck because of it. I know I will.
Well, this is ridiculous.
It's frightening. I mean, when I catch myself watching the last curve.
Why don't you just back up, Sycamore? Then you could be using your rearview mirror to see where you're going instead of where you've been.
Funny. You're very funny. I am going to wreck my car. I'm going to go over the edge. I'm going to kill myself, and you're being funny.
Nonsense. You've been driving up Sycamore for 2 years now and you haven't wrecked yet. The whole idea is ridiculous.
You're so sure about everything, aren't you? If it's never happened before, it will never happen. Everything is so easy for you, so neat. The only dangers you admit are the ones you read about in the newspaper. Ohio River Boulevard has more fatal accidents per mile than any other road in America. But nobody ever went over a cliff because they were hypnotized by their rearview mirror, did they? At least not that the Post-Gazette reported. So there's nothing to worry about. Everything's fine, isn't it?
Fine? No, I wouldn't say everything is fine.
Well, that's good news, because I sure as hell wouldn't say everything was fine either. I'd say everything basically sucked.
You think everything sucks because I don't believe that you're going to drive off the edge of Sycamore?
Just because you have no imagination doesn't mean that the rest of the world has to be as dull and insensitive as you are.
What are you talking about?
I don't know why I tried to tell you about it. Don't worry. I'll change that card in my wallet. You know, the one that says, in case of accident, notify.
Oh.
That way you won't even have to hear about it.
For heaven's sake.
But won't you be surprised when you read about it the next morning in the Post-Gazette?
Woman lies down, turning angrily away from man, and wraps up in the quilt. In a few moments, she's taken the entire blanket. Man is left out in the cold.
Jesus. Jesus, I gotta get some sleep. I have to get up at 5:30. She gets lost in her rearview mirror? Why can't she worry about something real? There are so many real things to worry about out there. When am I gonna get some sleep?
The next morning, man and woman are sitting at the breakfast table.
Sometimes when I'm in the car, I feel like I'm getting further and further away from you. I can feel you receding, getting smaller and smaller. It used to happen when I was going out of town, when I really was driving away from you. Now it can happen anytime. Even when I'm driving home and I know you'll be here, or when you're out of town too. And I'm really not getting further from you or closer to you, just sort of moving parallel to you. It scares me.
I know.
I don't think you do. I don't think you understand at all.
I don't understand. But I do know. I see it in your eyes.
I hardly understand it myself. I just don't feel the way I used to.
And how was that?
When I was driving, I could feel you getting closer and closer as I got closer and closer to home, or further away when I was on my way out.
And you don't feel that anymore.
No.
And it scares you?
Yes.
You're lost.
Oh, it's awful.
You're disoriented. I see it.
Used to be when I was in the car driving, like, when I came out here from San Francisco, I could feel your presence sort of, getting closer and closer. Somewhere around the Mississippi River, I guess. I just sort of shifted gears.
Plymouth was an automatic.
I'm speaking metaphorically.
Oh, right, metaphorically.
I shifted gears. I started looking forward to getting here. Before that, my attention was back home, back in San Francisco, in the rearview mirror.
Is that what this is about? San Francisco, the rearview mirror?
It's about crossing the Rockies on square tires.
You've got good tires now.
I wish we were more old-fashioned.
You want things to be like they used to be.
I think it's time to go back to San Francisco.
Us.
Me.
Let me come. Just for the drive. You shouldn't have to do that drive alone twice.
No, thanks.
You know, I know, we could race. Like the cannonball. I've always wanted to do that. I'll beat you to San Francisco.
No, thanks.
I'll make a deal with you. We race to San Francisco. If you win, I'll come back here right away. If I win, I stay there and we start over. Don't worry. I will win.
No.
You're serious.
I'm serious.
Don't go. Don't drive Killer 65.
I have to.
Woman exits. End of play.